Welcome to this week's episode of Tech Talk Live. I am your host, Michael Armogan, and with us this week we have our guest, Vicquell. This week we've got a number of different topics, but we're going to start off by remembering someone who is well known within the tech community, and Vicquell seems very happy that I'm actually talking about this. It's Steve Jobs, known as one of the key innovators when it comes to Apple products like the iPod, the iPhone, and even things like the MacBook. Now, of course, there's a lot of different views on him. Everything from he wasn't really an innovator to he was more of a marketer, to, you know, he was the best thing since sliced bread. But we have to at least remember that, you know, he has done a lot for the tech community, and today is the day, I think it was 6 years ago, like,
Yep. Yeah,
6 years ago that he died. And that's a long time when you really think about it.
That flew by so fast.
It does not feel like it's been 6 years.
No, not at all. Like, I still have the photo that Apple posted on their website that day. I screenshot it back when I was in grade 11, and I still have it on my computer up to this day.
Wow. That's dedication, but yeah, I mean, I'll admit, I'll be the first one to admit, well, I don't really use Apple products. He has done a lot for the tech community, and when you really think about it, he pushed for a lot of things. Like, for example, the iPhone. Or was it the iPod? I think it was the iPhone. He went on to Shark Tank, and they dismissed the idea hard. Like, every single one of them said no. Look at today.
I gotta say the same. Look where it is today. I mean, it has its faults, but look where it is today.
Exactly. Both the iPod and the iPhone revolutionized the industries that they were in. Granted, there were other players, but for the most part, they pretty much died off within time. Granted, you know, Android and whatnot since, but yeah, we have to give it 10. So we're gonna move on. Well, Vicky, do you have anything that you want to say about it? Well, about him?
No, I think I explained everything via my WhatsApp status today.
Which was what?
Oh, I've basically been posting up photos and videos of him all day on my WhatsApp. You know, you gotta show your support.
That explains your profile picture of him and saying, what is this? What's that saying now?
That's the photo from their website.
Steve Jobs, and the day he was born to the day he died. Well, the years.
Yeah.
Not. I gotcha. Okay. Oh, and there's another thing that we definitely need to talk about. The whole Las Vegas situation. You know, our heart goes out to those persons out. I think it was 59 last I checked. The 59 persons that were killed, which is horrible, and as well as the over 500 persons that were injured by, if I remember correctly, one man and an associate. So 2 people, from what I understand. I don't know if the second person was also shooting. But yeah, I know my heart goes out to them. Vicky, I'm sure yours does as well.
Same as well.
So, to the families out there, if you're a family or a friend, my sincere condolences. If you're one of those that were injured, I hope you heal up fast. Seriously. As we move on to our actual topics, we're gonna start off with Apple, since, you know, the whole Steve Jobs thing. And I'm gonna bring this something into focus now. Their beta, as well as their their .0.x little updates that supposedly fix various bugs and whatnot.
It really didn't fix anything, but
Vicky, so what's been your experience with these so far?
okay, well, first going off, iOS 11 was a total mess. I would admit. All the betas that I seen online were running smoothly. Everything was perfect, and then like they finally dropped the public gold master, and it just was like total trash. I had bugs everywhere. I know. I read online some persons were having issues with their AirPods connecting, where they would disconnect their AirPods like at random times. For me, I've basically been having. Let me see. Oh, one of the glitches I had. I've been having a keyboard glitch. It's moving rather slow, like in certain areas. My emojis also have a glitch, but then like I think it was like an upgrowing problem from iOS 10. When iOS 10 came out, the emojis, if you restart here, if you had a color set for your like the emojis that they offer you to have skin tone colors, if you had a color set for that, and if you cleared your keyboard history, when you go back, it wouldn't in iOS 10. It wouldn't save like save the colors like how it did in iOS 9. And I tried this on like it happened on like all their versions. Like it never got fixed. And I think that's kind of it kind of bled over to iOS 11, but not like so extensively. But then I haven't changed my colors. But I know like if you use your recent keyboards, like if you use the recent emojis on your keyboard that have like a certain color, like if you press it, like it randomly prompts you to the screen for you to select a color. And I'm just like I already have the color selected. Like why are you prompting me to this? It wasn't doing this in iOS 10. Yeah, so that's one of the problems I've had. Another one is my landscape keyboard. So I really think that they're trying to fix the software to work with to work with the iPhone 10, which is the reason why we're having so many bugs, because they're still trying to fix that. Next, like there have been instances where some persons have been saying that they had the layout for iOS 11 for the iPhone 10 bled through on their like iPhone 6, 7. I mean, yeah, 6 series, 7 and 8. So I know that's issue, and I think that's why it is with my keyboard. Whereas I turn on my keyboard for landscape mode, it kind of like squishes in, and like they have like these bars on the side. I'm just like this bar, whatever was there before, and they didn't fix it in iOS 11, 0.1. I think I did iOS. Actually, no, wait. I think yes, they didn't fix it in 0.2 either. Still the same. I don't have the issue on my iPad though. I think it's just my phone. I forgot the next issue. I can't remember them all, but I know it's really terrible. I really expected them to come with a bang this year. I mean, how they made it seem like iOS 11 was like it essentially is. There was a lot of minor changes that made the software so much better. But I think that the public gold master killed it for me. And then there's also an issue with Control Center, whereas I would like quickly swipe down on Control Center, it would trigger my brightness going all the way down. But they apparently patched that in 11.0.2. So I guess that's kind of like a fix, but they didn't fix everything else.
So the whole Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Oh yes, that as well. How could I forgot? Like it got to a point where I don't even want to try to turn it off anymore. I just like leave it. I just leave it on. So like that whole area with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. What else is in that area?
Airplane mode.
Has airplane mode, and then the cellular. connectivity, but I don't think anybody turns out to say connectivity. But in that area, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth don't turn on. If you turn off, you use it from the control center. You have to actually physically go into settings to turn it off. If you turn it off in control center, it would just say not connected. And when you go to it inside settings, it will show that it's on, but it's just not connected to anything. So in order for you to permanently turn it off, you have to turn it off through settings, and that's kind of like a hassle because I have to go all the way into settings to turn it off. When I used to just be able to do that through my control center from like iOS 10 down.
So there's two things that I've also noticed. Well, one thing that two things that I've noticed. One thing that I'm curious about. One of my coworkers from Jamaica contacted me and asked me if I'd seen this before. And I honestly hadn't heard any of this really happening, and I took a look, and granted, some things like this kind of happened with 9 and 10, but it's very rare, and I'm kind of curious if it's happening more with 11 now. But apparently social media apps are disappearing from the data section of, like, when you go to cellular and you can see your data usage, or like turn off background data usage. Yeah, they are just not there, period. And I'm like, okay. So I mean, yeah, I sent him some ideas on how to fix that, but that was a bit surprising. I didn't expect that to be a thing.
Yeah. Oh, there's also issues with the watch. I posted it on Twitter to make sure it was only me that's having this issue, but for some reason, when my watch pushes notifications from Twitter, like it doesn't show, like, the blue background white bird. That looks, it doesn't show that. It just has, I don't know if people have seen it, but it's like when you download an app, but it hasn't fully been completed, and it doesn't display the artwork. It just shows like the little square with the rounded corners, and like this little circle in the middle with like lines.
I think that's the default kind of.
Yeah. The default before, like, it actually loads the artwork in front of it. Yeah, like it just shows that, and I'm just like, okay, like it was working fine for Facebook, but it wasn't working for Twitter. And I posted on Twitter to see if anybody else was having this issue, and it was like, no, they're having this issue as well. And then I updated my phone to iOS 11.0.2 to see if that fixed it. And now it's happening for both Facebook and Twitter. And I'm just like, what's going on with this? Like, all y'all barely update your watch software and y'all having this much issues.
Sorry, that's a little bit of bias coming out.
And then there was the issue with the iPhone 8, where people were hearing like this crackling noise to the headpiece, and they supposedly patched that in 11.0.2. That was mainly what that update was for. Like, it was, I am 100% sure that was for nothing else but to fix that one bug, and it was something else. I think they were having some issues with photos and emails. But other than that, they haven't fixed anything. Not at all.
Well, I know they definitely can't patch those iPhone 8 battery issues that a few people are reporting.
Battery gate.
Battery gate is now a thing. So apparently what's happening, for those who aren't aware, is that the housing is pretty much popping open because of the batteries being, swelling up and causing issues. Apple is apparently investigating it. Let me see. It says Apple is investigating after 2 iPhone 8 Plus owners shared pictures of their device burst open due to possible battery failure, which is typically what happens when your battery starts to swell up, since it's lithium ion. They say that they are aware and that they are looking into it. Overall, though, this does not bode all that well for a device that has just been released not more than a month now at this point.
Yeah. And I'm so glad I didn't order the 6 Plus. I mean, the 8 Plus. Thank the Lord. I'm praying that everything is okay with my iPhone.
We can only hope.
I'm hoping so.
I
But
know. Sorry, go on.
I mean, well, you could anyway. But I know, like usually when they have like releases, there's always something that goes wrong. Like the fall was the cellular gate. I don't know what they call it. Then
Um, Death Grip Gate,
where
something like that.
yeah, like where where it was losing signal.
Yeah, but
They,
depending on how
then
you
they
gripped it.
yeah, then they fixed it with the case that they released. They had the
Mm-hmm.
case for like what was it, the bumper case. If
Yeah.
I'm correct. Yeah. Um. Then I don't remember anything major for the fives. Was there something major for the fives?
No, I think the next thing that really happened
It was
was
six.
Bendgate.
Yeah, and then the crescent gate
Yes.
where the camera would like shift. Yeah, the crescent gate, then the bend gate, which turned into a bend test, which I don't mind that one. I think people made a plus for it and decided to start bending phones to test it.
Yep.
And now it's this. I'm waiting to see what happens, what goes wrong with the iPhone 10. Like I am patiently waiting because I can feel it in my soul. Something about to go wrong.
Well, I think we said it in the last one, but you know they were already having issues with the face sensor. So, but here's the thing that I was curious about, right? So, the iPhone 10 has a notch, and that comes like I think there's like a space like that big, then there's the notch, and then there's another space like that big. Probably dimensions are screwed up, but with that notch being there, then that's going to be a little bit of a space there for that just is space. Well, no, because technically that might be symbols. I'm just trying to wonder how the keyboard layout is going to be because of the notch.
Yes, if you put it, I think, and this is where the issue with the keyboard, the landscape. I think when you put it in landscape, it's gonna have like little bars on the side, and then the keyboard's gonna be in the middle. So I think that's what that issue is on what I've been receiving. I think that's what that issue is for. Like they're trying to, it's like it's kind of like they thought about this giant software, well, this giant improvement for the software because it's still running the same UI from iOS 6 or 7, one of them. Yeah, this new improvement for the software. Like they came up with this big idea how to improve the software. Then they came up with this big phone, and they released the software. And now it's like, okay, we can try to figure out how we're gonna like put the software to work with the phone. Yeah, so I think that's why all the bugs are bleeding over because they're still trying to figure out how to like I guess position certain things for the phone. So screenshots on the iPhone 10 looks rather weird. Like you have like this access empty space at the top. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably find out more once it's actually been released. Now I do know that the iPhone on a whole has been blowing out some pretty good numbers when it comes to doing video rendering, which is pretty intensive even for laptop computers. So the fact that it can do it and it's doing it better than some laptops, including some MacBooks, is an interesting feat. I mean, it kind of raises the question of, are we really getting to the point where we won't need computers as much anymore? Like, I think the Note 8 really raised that question, but with these benchmark tests that came out, it's kind of like elevating that even further. What's your thoughts?
I think at a point in time it's going to become like that. Well, because at the present moment, with the latest update for iOS 11 on the iPads, like that's like basically almost replacing like computers now. So I think it's going to be more linked to iPads to replace the computers, and then like shortly after this, it's going to be like you're going to solely use your phone for everything. I feel like like go from big to small. I feel like that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the last topic that we have for Apple is actually one that kind of shares some information with Samsung. It's the fact that Samsung, for every iPhone 10 that is sold, and I find it the amount slightly ironic, they're gonna be making $110 estimated, at least, to a grand total of about $4 billion.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I know iPhone's definitely looking at other like screen vendors since they want the curved screen kind of thing. But Samsung, holy crap.
Yep, they're raking in that money.
Yeah.
And this is what I find funny, that persons would judge you so hard by the phone that you use. But at the same time, these two companies partnering up because you know why? Money you have to make. They got to make the money. Even if we're rivals, I still got to partner up with you because you have what I want.
Exactly. So I find it funny as people like, oh, well, that whole thing with that I mentioned like in an earlier episode, about certain iPhone users won't date someone who doesn't have an iPhone or uses an Android kind of thing. Like, I found that article, and I still find that article. It's like, wow, people are so close-minded.
It's I feel like it's about 95% true. Like I won't lie, I'm not turned on someone because they have an Android phone. It's just that I see the type of phone that you use and I'm like, okay. Like I see like I already have in my mindset, you know, I can't be expecting to be able to play iMessage games with you. I can't use like the latest emojis with you when they come out. I have to wait. Yeah, like I'm usually like, okay, say iOS like 11 point maybe 2. I feel like it's coming out with 2. Anyway, yeah, iOS 11.2. If that brings new emoji and I'm speaking to someone who owns an Android device, I'm not going to use those new emojis until WhatsApp updates in order for them to be able to see it. I have some type of consideration.
Hold on. So, are you or are you not saying you wouldn't date someone because they're using an Android device?
No, I'm not that close-minded. I look up the type of phone that you know that you use, and I kind of have that base set, like that baseline for what I can and cannot do. So I can't send you the newest emojis, can't play iMessage games with you. So it's like, not to make it sound rude, but like I have to stoop myself down to your level. I mean, I'm sure some Android users feel the same way, whereas because I can't do certain things, they have to put themselves down to my level. But not to make it sound mean, like they just kind of how it is in a way.
Wow.
No, it's just.
I hope someone clipped that.
Not to make it sound mean, but that's how it is. Like if I'm in a group with somebody who owns an Android device and I have the latest emojis because you know Apple gets the emojis first since they code it. Anyway, but yeah. And if I know, like I'd ask, I was like, okay, has WhatsApp updated for y'all to get the new emojis yet? If they tell me no, then I was like, okay, I can't. Like I already know, okay, I can't use these emojis because it's not gonna show up for them if they use it. So like I just kind of like downgrade, so I don't use them until I'll get them, and then I start using them. Yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. Like I don't think it's as bad as it sounds. Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
Okay then, miss. Moving on. We're going to be talking about our Google Pixel, well, not our Google Pixel, but the Google Pixel event. Yes, because we're Google. Now, of course, this event just happened yesterday. So that was the October 4th, which was a Wednesday.
Yes.
And it was very AI focused. Like, it started off with the home editions like the Mini and the Max, which I see the Mini being kind of like an Amazon Echo Dot kind of competitor, in a sense.
Yeah.
And the Macs being on the lines of like the HomePod, Sonos, I guess in the sense Amazon Echo as well, kind of competitor. I found those kind of be interesting. I also found interesting that if you buy the Pixel 2, they give you a code a little bit later on to get a mini for free.
I love that. Like I was like, oh, look at them giving back to their customers. I like that. I like when they do stuff like that.
But I mean, for that price, like, like the 128 gig Pixel 2 is like when you actually buy it, it's over $1,000.
My heart.
Yeah. And the Pixel 2, which is the smaller version, the 128 version of that is like $800 something as well. Wow. But yeah, I mean, personally, I like the way that they're going about it because it really is making a real contender against Apple, especially, against Apple and against Amazon, especially since Amazon just came out with some new products are a little bit, fairly recently. I think it was this past week as well, but they weren't all that interesting. What was your take on the whole Max and Mini thing?
I thought it was cool. Like the fact that for me, when I first saw the Mini, I automatically assumed, it's supposed to be a competition for Amazon's Echo Dot. And like when they said, oh, they're going to be giving them free for a limited time with persons who buy a Pixel, I was like, oh, that's a nice touch. And I was like, look at them giving back. I wish I had, a company that did that for me, even though I spent so much money without getting anything back. But yeah, I guess
you get free headphones
that aren't even AirPods. Like, why aren't AirPods in the box yet? I'm patiently waiting for that. But yeah, like I thought like that was a really nice gesture. For the Mac, the Mac, the thing that you said, like I figured it's going to be a competitor for the HomePod, in which Chris had stated like how much people are going to purchase the HomePod because there's already Amazon out there basically taking over the market, in which I'm tired of Amazon, by the way. But yeah, Amazon's basically taking it because like they've taken over the anime market as well. Like I'm over them. But yeah, like Amazon is basically taking over the whole market for like smart speakers, and like home stuff. So like I'm glad to see that there's other competition there that's like it's going to be up to par with Amazon's Echo. Correctly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then they moved on into other things. Let me see exactly what. Where was that? Oh boy. I kind of lost. Store. Okay, so other than that, which they said those also have machine learning inside of them, which is a neat feature, but it's more on the lines of, okay, so how often are these things going to be updating? They came out with the Pixel book as well, which I found interesting, though it's still a Pixel. It's still Chrome OS. It's still kind of hindered behind some stuff. Yeah, they're making it a little bit more flexible, and with Android apps supposedly being able to work on it, that seems like a nice touch. But and the pen that's going to become that you can get for it, that seems interesting as well, and really making it seem more like a tablet. And I think they said were partnering up with BlackRock.
Yeah, that's why that pen is really interesting. They did a lot of partnering up. They partnered up with Disney as well, which I'm waiting for Apple to do 100%.
Yeah, I see them partnering more up with Pixar though.
Apple?
Yeah, mainly just because of Steve Jobs.
I just want Star Wars watch faces. So they gave me Toy Story and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Like
True.
why don't we have Star Wars?
That is a good question. Now that you point it out.
Like I'm pretty sure the persons would appreciate the Star Wars watch face over
Mickey
over
Mouse.
yeah,
Minnie Mouse.
and Minnie Mouse. Yeah, like the moving Toy Story faces as well. Like I feel like I would prefer Star Wars.
A lightsaber.
Yeah. Or like BB-8 in the corner, or R2-D2. I don't know, something.
That I think would be an interesting touch. This way though, I don't know, like I might expect Star Wars stuff to come more out on Android at this point. At least first.
And like the funny thing about it is, they have like a Star Wars section or like a mini section on their website. I think it's dealing with like one of the bots that they have. Like they have like a whole Star Wars little section for bots on their website, and this is like, okay, y'all have Star Wars stuff here, but where the watch face?
Oh my.
Or it's just me needing too much.
They came out with Google Clips, which was the, kind of like a little camera that you can take around with you.
Like GoPro in a way.
In a sense.
Yeah, like you could clip it on the things.
To take little small video clips or pictures, and then they get treated up with machine learning and artificial intelligence to make them look a little bit better, and you can share them to photos and in albums on the fly. But honestly, I don't really see that one being bought and used a whole lot.
I'd say they target, because it's like one of the first things they mentioned. I'd say they target parents, mainly like females, because they usually want to strip out the mothers of like small children. It's like the mothers are usually the ones that trip out first, like first step. They gotta record everything, that type of thing. So like I think because they mentioned it, I think that's going to be like one of their main targets. Whereas if you want to catch every moment of your newborn baby, you can always catch it with Google Clips. You can clip it anywhere, and it'll be able to capture things for you, stuff like that.
I guess. Still though, like when you really look hard at it, the practicality of it.
It's not necessary. Yeah, it's not really there.
Of course there's the whole daydream view thing, but that's been around. But the one that I think really captivated a number of people was the Google Pixel Buds.
Yes, I thought they were so cool.
And I know the part for me was the whole, being able to not only hear, but it would also speak in a language that you don't know. So I could, and it's 4 different languages. So I know when I go to Florida, for example, from the time I was a kid, even though I'm with my mom, like people would walk up to me and start speaking to me in Spanish, and I don't know a lick of Spanish other than, buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes, no habla español, así for so, and bien for good. Other than that, I don't know a lick of Spanish. So, when they walk up to me, I could be like, yeah, so what's actually happening is, and then it speaks out in Spanish. I wouldn't feel like a complete dunce. I'm just having to say like, no habla español. And just looking at them, no habla español.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the big touches for the AirBuds. I mean, not the AirBuds.
Pixel Buds.
Yeah, Pixel Buds. Like I think in Apple. So they took with like most companies are doing now, wireless headphones, wireless AirBuds, and they gave their own little spin to it. Like it's Google. They can use Google Translate, stuff like that. Then they just be like, oh, we're going to take away the headphone jack and then give you guys these earbuds that look like the Beats, what is 10 or something like that? Well, the little trappy thing, yeah. Like they gave their own spin to it.
Well, I know some people are also debating whether it's a good buy or not, considering that Google Translate can already do conversations. So it's kind of like a matter of, do you buy something for 150 something bucks just so that you don't have to pull out your phone?
Yep. I mean, I bought the AirPods just like off air, so yeah.
Okay. I think we need to direct those people to you so that you can help them understand. I mean, granted, it can do like phone calls and listening to music and everything like that. Plus, they have from what I remember, they have a 5-hour battery charge. Plus, the case in itself has like 20 hours of charge inside of it. So there's 5 different sets of charges inside of it. So, yeah, you pretty much have all-day battery usage if you use that, which I think is neat.
And the case don't look like super, super small where you can lose it.
Yes.
Cause like the AirPods are like this big, I think. Well, maybe like this big. I'll see later on this week, but I feel like they're about this big, and like they're super small, and like it really looks like you just like throw it somewhere and lose it.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think it's like $65 for replacing that, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly though, I'm torn. I am honestly torn. Like I was ready to buy it, and then I'm like, I just kind of caught myself. I'm like,
do we really need these?
Do I really need these? I already have something that can do bone conducting. The only thing I'd really be using it for is for translating, and I don't go over to places that need translating all that often. It was like, So that's my little dilemma with them. Otherwise though, yeah. Actually, the other thing that kind of stopped me was when I clicked to buy it, because of people trying to buy the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, the store within itself is also causing problems. So you click buy and then it would just refresh, and like the button would like act like it's doing, but you haven't bought jack crap. So, and then it would just pop back up. Buy now. Hey, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. Hey, you didn't get it.
I feel like that's how it's going to be. Come pre-ordering time for the iPhone 10.
Probably. More than likely, especially since a lot of people are wanting to buy the iPhone 10 over the 8.
Yep.
So, actually talking about like the whole, the phone portion of the event, which was the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. Surprisingly and not surprisingly, when they announced the device, they beat the current DxO Mark score, which was, I believe, 94, being tied between the iPhone 8 and the Note 8. Of course, Samsung and iPhone fanboys were having goes at one another, saying, it was rigged, so on and so forth. But for the different ones and how things didn't add up or something like that between those scores. But for the second time in a row, the Pixel has won the best smartphone camera. And it's actually, when you take a look at the DxO article that talked about it, you can see where it became the top notch at 98. So it scored 4 marks higher. Granted, they're also saying don't count 100 as the utmost limit. Things can go higher than 100 if they ever get to that point. But I think that considering that the iPhone 8 and the Note 8 have dual lens cameras, whereas the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL only has one, and was able to compete well enough against them, only having some slight flaws when it comes to zooming in. only because it has that one camera versus the others that have two, is really impressive.
Yeah, I don't think, for me personally, I don't think it was rigged. Like I could see where the Pixel 2 won the best smartphone camera of the year. Um, I've seen some camera tests comparing the 8 and, well, iPhone 8 and Note 8. It's 50-50, like certain things, like both cameras have like their own, like they have their own sensor like pros and they have their own sensor cons. Like for me, I prefer the photos taken from the iPhone 8 because it has like more of a vibrant, it has more like a vibrant color. Whereas like the colors pop and they look like crisp and like, you know, like when, yeah, like they look like super crisp and the colors like were really vibrant and they popping at you. Whereas with the Note 8, it was more like a subtle color. It wasn't as vibrant as how it was with the iPhone 8. Dual camera wise, I honestly and truly am like so iffy with dual cameras simply because Apple has not given their telephoto lens a higher MP than like the main iSight camera lens.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have a photo, if you're gonna have a telephoto lens, it has to be at a higher MP than the original lens because when you zoom in, it's going to become pixelated no matter what. So like, and I applaud Pixel for not jumping the gun like everybody else did. Well, jumping on the bandwagon like everybody else did, and added a dual camera because you know Apple did it last year. They seem to have made money. That's like camera wise and so on. But yeah, like I applaud them for doing that, and the fact that they could beat them without having a dual camera and just using the software was really amazing. And I saw like some photo tests on the Google Pixel.
Mm-hmm.
It was like MKBHD went. He was showing it, and I saw it. And I was like, wow, like this, like it was so amazing, like it mind blowing. Like the photos were so clean, crisp, colors were popping. Like when he did the blur, it wasn't too bad for the blur. I was like, ooh, this is really nice. And the fact that they offer it on both devices instead of it just being like the Plus models getting it, that was also a plus that I like that they did.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of shade right there.
Yeah,
Being thrown at some other companies, not just Apple, but like other companies as well, like Samsung. It's like, hey, yeah, what we do, it's on everything. Forget being like special stuff being on the higher end device or the bigger device. Is like, but I know when he posted that video, MKBHD, people were like really going on hard at that. At first they were zooming in super hard, to like, they zoomed him like on this piece of his face. And they're like, okay, yeah, we can see like your mustache and we can see your pores. And like it looks clear. And another person like zoomed in on his like backpack and they saw a little bit of ghosting there where it was just because of the trying to differentiate between him and the background. And so it kind of had a little bit of a blur. And it's like, come on people, this is the same day. This is, and not only that, but these devices have machine learning when it comes to pictures, which means these pictures are going to continuously get better at differentiating between backgrounds and people. So stop trying to rip it on a new hole already. It's like the first day.
I was like, let the phone live, man.
I will admit, I loved MKBHD's like whole thing was like, yeah, I'm watching the thing, and the person next to me just pulled out the 2XL next to me, and that's why I'm not tweeting as much. And I'm like, I can respect that.
Low-key, I feel like he's very biased on his channel, but you know, I'm gonna let it slide.
What was he saying?
No, like I feel like him naturally, and like watching his videos, he pushes a lot way to more Android side than he does for Apple.
Really?
Yes.
I would have thought he pushed a little bit more towards iPhone.
You know, like his iPhone videos are usually like this. You know, like I love it, but I hate it. I love hate it at the same time. It's always like a 50-50.
Are you sure it's not simply because Android just has more? Well, they have more phones, which means that he can do more content, and they typically have like more features, especially because there are more devices that he could talk on.
Maybe, but I know for him, it really comes off as though he's in love with the Google Pixel. That would be his main phone if he had a choice, because he switches phones a lot. But yeah, I feel like that's it.
At this point, it's hard not to.
I mean, I like it. I mean, if I wasn't such a Apple fan, I would get a Google Pixel.
That's the word you want to call yourself. Okay. I was waiting to see what exactly you were going to define yourself as.
I consider an Apple fan, so I would get a Google Pixel. And it's simply because the phone is amazing, and the fact that they're introducing all these lines of products that makes it it's kind of like a unison, like it's kind of like coming like a group, like how Apple basically have all their products synced together. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like one big happy family, and simply because of that, I think about if I was going to switch back, I would go with a Google Pixel. But that's not happening, so.
Yeah, unfortunately. One of these days we'll get you back.
Maybe. We'll see.
But actually, yeah, that's an interesting idea, because they have the computers now. Well, they've had computers. It's a matter of, and those computers are well used inside schools. Not so much many other places, but it's still a thing.
I feel like it's the Chrome OS. I feel like that's the main downfall for me for the computers.
I think what they need to do is something very similar to what Amazon did, and that's tying in with Microsoft so that it can work with Cortana. And if it works with Cortana, then it means that it works with Windows 10 and Windows 8. So you have a hook into that element. And then, if I remember correctly, it kind of works with the iPhone as well, in a sense. Well, like the home,
speaker?
Yeah, the home stuff.
Yeah, so, it doesn't do what it does with Android, but it can call your iPhone.
Yeah, so it's like
it can call your iPhone.
If you lose your iPhone, you lose your phone. If it's an Android, you could say, "Hey, help me find my iPhone," and it'll just make it do a beep. If it's an iPhone, it'll actually have to call you. And I think that only works in certain countries because it would have to call from that number. And that's actually something I'm going to need to test out when I get mine to see if it works here in the Bahamas. That would be interesting. Or if it's going to be like calling in from a US number or something like that.
It would be, because we tend to get the short end of the stick.
We almost forgot about something. I'm gonna come back to it. I just remembered it. But I mean, overall though, it seems like the Pixel 2 line is coming up and shaping along nicely. We've got a great camera. We've got, unfortunately, no headphone.
No headphone jack?
Why?
Welcome to the dark side.
Vicky, don't make me hate you. This dark side does not have cookies, and this is the More Cookies channel. I'm sorry. Headphone jacks have cookies. They have my cookies, and I want them back.
Get used to the dongle life.
That sounds so wrong. So wrong. Okay, so let's see. You've got USB fast charging, so it can charge up. I think it was within 15 minutes. You get, it's either 2 or 7 hours of charge. Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember.
Either way, that's still very impressive. So I don't have to USB-C was already charging fairly quickly. The fact that these batteries do it even faster is great. It has AR core built inside of it, so you can have your AR stickers inside your photos and videos and stuff like that, even though you can't do your whole emojis with your face. You can have little things like Snapchat, because I think they actually said they worked with Snapchat for that.
Yeah.
So you don't have your hot dog man or your banana man, but you've got other things. And then of course there's the whole AI element, which helps improve your pictures, like even after the fact, and sorting them out, so on and so forth. Oh, and your pictures and videos will be backed up at the highest resolution until 2020.
You lucky bastards.
Meanwhile, iPhone users have to stick with their little iCloud storage.
Yep.
Though, I mean, you are welcome to download Google Photos and back them up there.
But then I have my whole laptop, so I back up on iTunes until Apple, I really feel like it's coming, but until Apple removes the charging port. Like, I feel like it's coming, like I can feel it in my soul that they're about to do something that's going to be messed up soon.
Well, that was actually part of the thing that we almost forgot. The Apple charging adapter. Fast charging adapter, that is.
Yes.
So, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, iPhone 8, well, they had it for the iPad Pro, but with the iPhone 8 lineup, you can now fast charge your device. But it's just going to cost you $50 to purchase the USB-C adapter, and then you got to spend an extra, like maybe $20 or so to get the Lightning to USB-C cable. So you're about to spend essentially about $70 on fast charging for your phone. Yeah, they did some tests for it to tell you how fast your phone actually charges. Like if you're using an iPhone 8, if you're using the regular 5-watt charger, within the time of 15 minutes, it can charge your phone to 12%. If you're using the 12-watt charger, the other ones that comes with the regular iPad, it's going to charge your phone to 23% and within 15 minutes. Then if you use the USB-C charger, which is one of them, they have the 29 watts. But if you use that one, it's going to charge your phone to 28% within 15 minutes. And then for 30 minutes, which is where it kind of increased, 30 minutes with the 5-watt, it charges your phone at 27%. For 30 minutes for the 12-watt, it charges your phone at 46%. And then for the 29 watts, which is the USB-C one, it charges your phone to 56% within 30 minutes.
That's pretty nice when you really think about it.
It is, but it just costs you $70.
Yeah, that price, that's a little killer right there.
Well, actually, I just plug my iPhone to. I plug it into my iPad charger, which is the 12-watt one. So I don't really feel it too bad.
Oh, there was some other stuff apparently I forgot as well about the whole Google event. Well, with the Pixel 2 stuff, you can squeeze it to start talking to Google Assistant, which is a neat little gesture that I'm kind of curious how that actually works. Though I found it interesting that was something that HTC had, but it ported over to the device that HTC didn't even make. So that was an interesting little development there.
And I really felt like some persons knocked the squeezable HTC. I feel like people they kind of shunned it in a way.
Yeah.
But now Google adapted it and they made it into their own version for Pixel, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have a squeezable phone that we can now use. What is it? It's Google Now?
Google Assistant.
Google Assistant, yeah. That we can now use Google Assistant with, and we just squeeze it. And it's like, oh, that's so amazing. And I'm just there like, HTC had it, and I feel like person shunned it, and now all of a sudden Google has it, and it's like, oh my, it's so wonderful. But I like that they adapted it from HTC. They put it in their first phone. Like, I think that's a neat feature. But I'm wondering if it's just going to be Google Assistant, or is it going to be able to allow you to customize it?
I think it's only going to be Google Assistant, to be quite honest.
It'd be nice if I could customize it. Just squeeze it to launch my camera faster and stuff like that.
I'm sure someone's going to root it and then try to change it like that, much like how they did with the Bixby button. Except Google more than likely is not going to be like Samsung and lock that stuff out. So you never know. They might just do something like that.
It'd be nice.
There's the whole element of music identification. So you could just have your phone on the desk, some music's playing, and it'll tell you what song it is.
That's neat. Saves you the time of downloading Shazam.
Exactly. And though that seems like it is an app within itself, because there was an app that they found that got loaded up on the Play Store yesterday. And so that's likely going to be on it that will manage that. I don't know if that's going to come to other devices. Who knows? When it comes to the kids element of it, apparently later this month, Google's going to be launching more than 50 new ways that kids can do things with Assistant. So this is also going to start playing around with the home stuff, where they can play games, ask trivia questions. As of like today, they can use actions on the Google platform, which is stuff for kids, much like how Alexa kind of has it. They've had that up since August. So for example, when an adult says, "Okay, Google, let's play a game," Google Assistant will come out and like offer to do things like, "No, phone." I'm gonna have to say "Okay, G" at this point. Much like, it will offer to do things like Mad Libs, Lucky Trivia, and the Crystal Ball Fortune Teller, which are things hosted by the assistant. But when kids come and say, "Okay, G, let's play a game," it's gonna then offer things like beatbox, play musical chairs, or what kind of fruit are you? When they ask like, "Okay, tell me a story," it's gonna partner up with, I think it was Disney for some of them, and then some individual writers as well, for Snow White or the chef that loves potatoes. And then it's like, "Okay, Google, let's learn," and it's gonna like do other things like that as well. And also with the home stuff was the broadcast feature, where, and I still need to like understand this one a little bit more, but it's, you can pretty much say, "Okay, G, broadcast, it's time to leave for school," which is the example they used yesterday. I think the way they were saying like adults will love it, kids will hate it, because then it'll be broadcast to the other home devices within inside your home, and like give a notification sound or something like that to say, "Hey, it's time to do this," or whatnot.
Basically, kind of like replacing the parents' job to go upstairs and wake up their child and be like, "Oh, it's time to get up."
Yeah, I think people are more interacting, well, more saying like it's trying to replace the intercom as well.
I forgot about those things.
Yeah. Those times when your parents just call you instead of coming to your room, it's like, but I don't want to answer the phone.
We don't use it, so yeah. I think for that it would be a really nice replacement for intercom.
Especially when it's like something as simple as like it's dinner time, or "Come, let's go out," or something like that. I don't know exactly what all it's going to be doing, but it's interesting.
Yeah, like you have multiple features within this one device, and then whereas an intercom is just like, I use it to speak to you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's the whole Google Lens element to it as well, but when it comes to the Pixel 2 line, where you can use the camera and then press the Pixel Lens icon, and it'll tell you stuff about whatever it is that's on the camera. So if it's a picture or a monument or something like that, it'll give you information about that, which I think is neat.
And me as well. I think that was a really nice touch. I think that was so cool.
It kind of is a little bit taking away from what AR was expecting to do. Augmented reality was like you put up your phone, and then like just say you're in a museum and it pulls up information about it. So, and I guess in a sense it's kind of like AR, but not really, but kind of is?
I guess I'm still. This is just me personally, but I still a little iffy with the AR thing in a way. Um, but I can't wait to get my phone so I can play some AR games. I want to try them out, but I am still iffy with the AR thing, and in a sense, I think it does replace what AR is supposed to do for them. But I think it's gonna be like we have Google Lens that does this, and like we also have AR that does this as well. Because I guess they're gonna have like something to like separate it, to differentiate the two in a way.
Yeah, because I mean
Like,
that is only a little small part of AR, because AR
yeah.
is like games and everything like that as well, like you said. So you'll see.
So they're gonna use AR for this portion, and they're gonna use Google Lens for the next.
Exactly.
Gotta put their software to use. They have a lot of them.
Yeah. The thing that really got me though is the routines element of it. So like, for example, if I'm heading home and I say like, okay, G, I was about to say the other word and then my phone would have gone off. Let's go home. It could pull up my driving information, though I'm here in the Bahamas, so I don't really need that. It can pull up like a podcast or something like that and continue where I left off. It can send a text message to whoever it is that I need to send a text message to that says, you know, hey, I'm on my way home, something like that. And then when I get home, it's as simple as, okay, G, I'm home. And then it'll turn on my lights, tell me reminders that I was supposed to do before I got home, or like when I get home, I should say. Turn on the AC, because there's the whole Nest element of Google, which deals with like thermometers and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, not thermometers, thermostats. And then when I go into bed, okay, G, good night. It can turn on the security system, or like tell me about what my day is going to look like tomorrow, set my alarm, that kind of stuff.
So in other words, it's making people lazy.
Yes.
See, this is the future. This is what's happening to us. And AR and AI are just going to make it worse.
Yep.
So much worse.
Oh yeah. We will be the people that just say something, have a bunch of things just happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that was mainly it with the Google stuff, and we just have a few more topics. One being Facebook and its facial recognition testing. Now, I know before the show, you and I were kind of talking about this, and we were like, we don't really want facial recognition to become a big thing when it comes to, like, how should I say it?
Big companies?
Yeah, like we don't want them to make that instead
that
of
influence, like that major influence on certain things.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my rescue with that. And I mean, honestly, I don't want facial recognition to replace fingerprint scanning. Like,
Me either.
it feels more invasive of my privacy for something like that. Instead of, like, even with my laptop, I have a fingerprint scanner on it, and I feel more comfortable with that than my than Windows Welcome, using my camera to read my face and then, you know, say it's me. It feels a little weird.
Yeah, I think it's okay when it's more of like a third option. Well, fourth option. Let's put it that way. Fourth option to unlock your devices. And this is going to be so mean of me. It's going to be so mean. But I really hope that Face ID don't kick off as much as Apple would like it to. So they can find some way to embed fingerprint Touch ID within the screen. So next year, the iPhones will have Touch ID, but but Face ID would be more of like a backup. Like I would prefer it to be an option for me to unlock my devices, but I don't want it to be like my primary option. Like give me the choice to decide if I want y'all to like scan my face or use my fingerprint.
Yeah, I know with the Pixel 2, people were saying that, you know, it was gonna come. Excuse me, it was gonna come with that, but unfortunately it didn't. I still ended up getting the device, but I think next year because they were saying Apple was gonna have that, Samsung was gonna have that. Samsung was the first one they said was gonna have it. And they said the Pixel 2. All three did not come with it at all, and it was depressing. I felt hurt when I heard no mention of it. No, legit, I felt hurt. But I think next year they're definitely gonna come out with something that has it. Even if it's just like, if it's just Samsung, if Samsung has it, more than likely Apple will have it because they use their screens. But yeah,
I mean, they do that. They have to. If Apple succeed, they have to push that for their iPads as well.
Yeah. Though we're slightly deviating. I would like to mention that this whole facial recognition thing for Facebook, it's only for when you are recovering your account. So let's say, you know, someone hacked into your account or you forgot your password, then that becomes an option where it reads your face to then, you know, say, oh, well, this is actually your account because, you know, I can see your face. God help you if you've like had something terrible happen to your face or it doesn't read your face because you're wearing a heavily lot of makeup, even though, you know, people are saying that will still read through it. But you know, some makeup artists go, oh, sorry, I mean some people go with their face.
In that sense, I don't feel like. In that sense, I don't feel like it's 100% bad per se. Like I think it's like a nice little. It's like a nice feature to have there, like if you need to use it, but not like a push it on me type of thing. Yeah, so I think it's a nice feature that they're adding in a way. It helps people to recover their account, though it don't be like no funky writing as their name and all that stuff. Like you seen it like where when person's accounts get hacked, like they have like this funky writing. I don't really know which language it is, but like it's like this funky writing, and then it's like okay, what's up? So I think it would help. It would help Facebook a lot with dealing with persons who had their account hacked and had to like start all the way from scratch.
Yeah. The next topic is dealing with Sony and the PlayStation. More so, the PlayStation VR headset. So, if you have one of those, listen in. Apparently, there's going to be a new VR headset that's going to be coming out that features HDR pass-through capability. That's a whole lot of jargon right there. HDR, of course, standing for high definition range. Which pretty much means that, you know, we'll get much better pictures and videos and stuff like that, and they look better. That's the dumbed down layman's version of it. By far. But what that whole thing means on a whole is that PlayStation VR headset owners, the new ones, can now watch HDR PS4 content on their TV without having to disconnect the VR headset. You know, the headset will need to be turned off. Though it's important to note that the units cannot be exchanged. So the unit for the ZVR2 model will not be compatible with the ZVR1 and vice versa. So for anyone wanting to tell the difference between the two of them, when the new one goes on sale, Sony will hopefully point out some number of differences when they get to that point.
According, it have, you know, a nice little colored button.
You mean like Pixel 2 and the Apple Watch?
And the Apple Watch 3? Yeah, like that seems to be the thing. Like just throw in a colored button.
Throw in the colored button to make sure, you know, this is new.
Yeah, this is the top of the line one.
I hope that does not become a thing.
Yeah, I feel like it is going to be a thing. It's already started. Just embrace it.
No. According to the Japanese PlayStation website, the updated PlayStation VR will launch on next week Saturday, so that's Saturday, October 14th, which is going to be coming roughly around $400 in the United States, or £300 if you're in the the UK or EU. I forget which one uses pound. I think it's
Question.
I think it's England, and then the euro. Yeah, the euro is for the European Union.
Yeah, so it's UK.
Yeah. And apparently Sony is also reviewing the PlayStation Move controller with eye to launching a PS4 exclusive version with a micro USB connection.
So they're revamping their products that didn't really kick off too well first going off.
Yep.
So now that AR has started to grow and become a thing, it's like, let's push this again. Let's try it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this case it's VR, but
Yeah, VR. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And
I'm actually with VR. I think anime is scared me.
well, yeah, we've had Dot Hack, we've had Sword Art Online, we've had Log Horizon, we've had, oh lord, I think there's like one or two others, and they all don't always end well.
Yeah. So I'm always skeptical. I'm always skeptical unless it comes to Mario Kart. Now that Mario Kart VR, yeah,
well,
VR would be nice.
There is one thing that I could say you'd be fine with, is that all of those, for the most part, require a neural interface, which means that it would connect to your brain.
Oh.
So until VR gets to that point, I don't think you have anything to really worry about.
I give it another 5 years. Talks, maybe.
Probably. Oh wow, I know there's another anime that has it, and I can't remember it. I talked about it in one of my articles on my blog a few years ago. Anyway, the last topic is WhatsApp, and apparently they are giving their 1.2 billion users iOS styled emojis that differ from those on Facebook and Messenger, and adding a general air of cross-platform confusion, as TheGuardian.com would like to have you feel. Overall, though, pretty much what they're saying is that they're going to be creating their own kind of emojis that look a lot like the Apple emojis, which I think could be interesting, especially with well, I'm not 100% sure what all it's going to be doing. If it's going to also include the Fox one, and the AR stuff, and just kind of make emojis of those as well. But it will be interesting, I'll say that much.
I think they may. I feel like when the iPhone 10 comes out, they're probably gonna have an update where you're gonna be able to use animated emojis in WhatsApp chat. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on Apple. But yeah, maybe. I feel like eventually they may advance to that, because they have right now they have the moving heart,
Mm-hmm.
which is the only one that they have moving. So I think they may even improve that with the other emoji options. And I don't know.
Sorry, go on.
With that, I think the only persons that are going to be affected, I think the only users that are going to be affected are Android users. Because for us, no matter how an emoji is used, we're always going to see it well, on like iOS devices, they're always going to see it as the iOS emojis. Like on Twitter, if you use the Twitter emojis on the web and on the web, if I go inside the Twitter app on my computer, I'm going to see the Apple emojis. If I go in it on my iPad or on my phone, I'm going to see the Apple emojis. So I think for us, it's not going to really make a difference, but for y'all, it will.
Yeah, I think that's actually what happened to me the other day. Remember when I said like the moons changed? And like like it was jarring. Like I expect the one that I normally see, like the moons like look at the side and have this little like yeah kind of look to them. And this one's just like sitting there like I know what you did last summer. You disgust me. Come here, let me lick your face. But it just brings a whole another level of creepiness to it. But it was jarring, and I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't know, because it's only showing up on the beta versions of WhatsApp, and yes, I use the beta version of WhatsApp. But I am hoping that they stick with, you know, each platform's own emojis. Unless it's like something that's missing. Let's say if one platform comes up with an emoji that the other one doesn't have just yet.
Like the middle finger?
Yes.
Android had it first, and then Apple introduced it later on.
Exactly. So having it something like that, I think would be beneficial. Especially since it is a cross-platform kind of thing.
And like that's also the thing with the middle finger emoji. I know when it came out for Android, it was like a totally, it was, how should I say it? It was designed differently. It's like it had like its own special design for like Android users on WhatsApp. And then when Apple came up with their version of it, it's like WhatsApp just completely erased their design and replaced it with the Apple version.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, Facebook have emojis, Messenger has emojis, Twitter has emojis. So like the only next main social media that needs to get emojis is Instagram. And because Zuckerberg owns all three, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, I only think that it's about a matter of time for Instagram to get it.
I kind of hope Instagram doesn't. Like, they already have so much clutter and confusion with enough other things. And I mean, the whole thing was for it to be clean cut, where it's just picture and then comments about the picture, but it's kind of evolved into
Yep.
booty shots, booty, rocking everywhere.
Stories.
Stories are apparently they finally putting in like the cross-functional stuff, Facebook and Instagram. It's
I don't use any of these apps. Like I just have them sitting on my phone. When I need to use them, I use them.
I barely use Instagram other than to post about, well, the show. I used to use it a bit more, like, because I traveled quite a bit more. But
Yeah, like I used to, same thing with Snapchat for me, and Facebook and Instagram. I use them. I always use Twitter more than everything else. And up to this day, I still use Twitter more than everything else. But I used them back in the day, and I was just like, okay, like I already had my fun with it. It's like, okay, on to the next thing. Like I only have it on my phone because my storage is good enough for it. So it's like, okay, I don't mind keeping you there because I have enough storage for you.
I gotcha. Well, I'm going to wrap up this week's episode. I think we've covered a lot of different topics.
I think so.
I think so.
Another thing I like to say about iOS 11, I liked what they did with Keychain for beta 1. I haven't seen it happen since 0.2. I'm gonna have to check it out. But I like what they did with Keychain, where they now have Keychain in like the little right corner on top of the keyboard. It's like you just like click there, or you just like tap it. It's gonna pull up all your passwords, and you just easily tap the password that you want for that. It's really nice. Like I like that. And then like I noticed that they're really pushing Face ID. They're pushing it so hard, but yeah, they're really pushing Face ID. Whereas now, just about every other thing I do on my phone, I have to authenticate that it's me. So they're pushing the as you use Face ID is going to learn your face. Yeah, I see that I assume that's what they're doing because I only have Touch ID, so it's pushing me to use Touch ID more. But I'm thinking when the iPhone 10 comes out, it's going to push you to use Face ID. So I think that's what they're trying to do with iOS 11. It's kind of annoying.
NSA, CIA, here we go.
I could see it happening.
Yeah,
I just feel like Face ID is a bad idea for the moment.
I agree. But
it's Apple. They do what they want.
Exactly.
You either accept it or go buy a new phone.
Exactly. You know this very well.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to thank all of our watchers, and I'd like to thank my guests for deciding to come on today. Thank you, Vicquell.
You're welcome.
And of course, don't forget, we'll be back next week with Esports Wrap at Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Tech Talk again next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, see you next time.